What's up, guys, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Faith. I am an astrologer as well as an intuitive tarot reader. Now, let's get into the new moon in Taurus on April 27th, 2025. Now, this new moon is at 8 degrees Taurus, conjunct the sun, which would be at 7 degrees. So very, very potent energy. If you're unfamiliar with astrology, the zodiac sign Taurus is all about comfort, relaxation, the five senses, and not in like a sexual way, but just very much so sensuality, like really honing into all of your senses. Taurus loves food. It loves the things of the material realm, and that could be like physical goods, or just like provision matters as far as like your home, as well as actual like food and things to enjoy on this earthly realm. It rules the throat chakra, and it can sometimes just be very, very set in its own way, as it is a earth sign. No shade to earth signs, just very, very grounded and just for certain in itself. This new moon in Taurus is definitely calling you to not only be grounded, but to also plant the seeds for what you're calling in to your reality, really. This new moon will also be squaring Mars in Leo, as well as Pluto in Aquarius. So this is just bigger than, set your intention and all is well, manifest with Taurus. Is deeper than that. This is really a call to balance the act between going after what you want with that Mars and Leo energy and that just bold courageousness with, it's kind of like work-life balance, or like work hard but play hard as well. Mars also has a strong creativity aspect. So this is getting creative in ways that fulfill and sustain you but don't burn you out. And then when we introduce Pluto into the mix, because this is creating a grand trine, so Mars is actually opposing Pluto right now. So this introduces the idea of how can we step into our own personal power, and definitely the energy of alchemy, right? How can we not only plant the seeds for what we're calling in for the rest of the year, as spring is here, we're ready to plant those seeds so we can reap the harvest later this year, but in a way that is going to transform us, how can we transmute our losses? How can we get creative and use our willpower and energy, not for manipulation, that lower octave of Pluto, but more so for the alchemy of the collective consciousness as well as ourselves? How can we use this potent energy to create this beautiful ecosystem that sustains us, that grows us, that feeds us, that nurtures us, that Taurus energy, in a way that really launches us forward into the rest of this year. So this is a beautiful new moon, especially this spring. This is just incredible energy that we're working with, and then we will see later in May how this ecosystem that we created, how it is flowing, how it is moving, if we can truly rely on it, as we approach the full moon in Scorpio later in May. One transit that I definitely would like to highlight would be Mars trine Neptune. Now, Neptune recently went into Aries. It's been in Pisces for quite some time. So now that it is in Aries, this is all about stepping into your personal power in a whole new way. It's really coming back to yourself in terms of spirituality and mysticism and growth, as well as just stepping into a deeper sense of creativity that really speaks from your soul. So we're going to see this definitely, I think, within content creation, as well as like spirituality and religion, and several other areas of life when it comes to film, when it comes to music, when it comes to pharmaceuticals and things like that. But with Mars trining Neptune, this is very, very deep, creative energy, right? This is not only supercharged creative energy, but it's also the willpower to get it done, right? Mars has been in Cancer for quite some time, and it recently entered back into Leo. So in Cancer, Mars is feeling very murky. It's feeling very washed out and slowed down in the sign of Cancer. However, in the fiery sign of Leo, we're getting that spark, we're getting that pizzazz back. If you watch my Mars and Leo tarot reading, then you know I keep referring to this transit as the espresso shot that the collective needed. So when you combine that potent energy and that creative life force energy with Neptune, this is a, like I said, a supercharged creative burst and the courage to do so. If you're a singer, if you're a songwriter, if you're a filmmaker, if you're any type of artist, this is going to be a great time to not only start, complete, or continue your work, but this is also the time to showcase your work. As you spread and share your art, this will give other people the chance to pour into themselves through your medium, as well as give people the opportunity to connect in new ways. Now, the other side, or the lower octave of Neptune, is it can create a sense of cloudiness, or just a sense of feeling very directionless and not knowing what to do. So Mars will definitely help clear this up and give you a sense of direction. And lastly, if you've been working on your spiritual journey, then this will give you an opportunity to dive a little bit deeper. Feel free to go into deep meditation and really set your intention. Work on your, work at your altar, however you normally work with God, source, the universe. This is the chance to go deeper and just really pay attention to what your soul is calling you towards during this new moon. So some themes that are coming up surrounding this new moon would be definitely creativity, definitely courageousness, alchemy, transmutation, right? As well as speaking your truth. If you are a public speaker, if you're a writer, now is the perfect time to really let your words flow. If you create any type of content, this will also be a nice time to work on that, publish that, get that done. With Pluto being in Aquarius, this is still eccentricness. This is your uniqueness. How can that shine? Okay, but again, balance. It's balancing the urge to just be seen for the sake of being seen versus being seen in your power, in your truth, showing up and having something to say in a way, like saying something that not only again launches you forward, but the collective as well, instead of just I'm gonna post 10 reels just to say I post 10 reels. We're moving away from that during this new moon, and we're stepping into art forms, whether that's content, blogs, vlogs, whatever the case may be, art forms that are nourishing the collective. Additional things that are coming up would be to complete your tasks, okay? And this is sometimes very, very hard to do. Like I said, it's definitely been hard these past couple of months with Mars being in Cancer, but this is starting something and being ready and willing to finish it. This is showing up not only for the people who depend on you, but showing up for yourself, right? This is really stepping forward in, building something. What have you been building for the past couple of months, and now do you notice that now you have more energy to do it? What are you working on? What are you striving towards? And really setting those intentions, and with the anticipation of them blooming as we move further along into the year. Now, one last transit that I want you to keep an eye on would be the fact that Uranus is still in Taurus. Now, it's not a tight conjunction. It's really nowhere near the moon and the sun right now. However, we're still under that energy, right? So Uranus moves into Gemini later this year, but for now it's still in Taurus. So for those of you who, we've been talking about these different themes and you're feeling a little bit stuck, maybe you are struggling to find your voice, maybe you're struggling to find stability, everything feels a bit chaotic right now, you definitely want to look where Taurus is in your chart, what house it's in. But if that area of life is still feeling a little bit chaotic right now, then again, this is definitely the time to ground yourself and look for ways that you can find your footing. Now, if you're feeling stuck or in a slump, then I would recommend tapping into this energy of Uranus. Uranus is all about change. It's all about evolution. It's about transformation, technology. So how can you use the tools around you to go further? How can you do things in a new, exciting, in a different way? So keep that in mind during this time. If if you're in a situation or a position where it's like, this is how we've always done it, but it's no longer working, then this may be your nudge from the universe to switch things up and have fun with it instead of doing things the old standard rigid way. So some journal prompts for this new moon. So 1, where in your life do you sense a power play, a power struggle? So where in your life do you notice where you're super comfortable versus where you may be holding yourself back? Because Pluto in Aquarius is definitely going to call you to transform those areas of your life. Now, with this new moon, how can you speak your truth in a new way or in a way that lights you up? Number 3, what creative ideas and projects have you been working on but you have not yet brought to life? Okay, that's a good one. Number 4, what are you nurturing right now? What in yourself or maybe in the material world are you building? Are you creating? What are you nurturing right now? I mean, this new moon is ruled by Venus. Venus is currently still in Pisces. So Pisces is all about otherworldly things and just, again, the different dimensions in reality. So what are you calling in that you may not see in this reality at this current moment? Number 5. I think it's number 5. How can you deepen your trust in the universe, God, source, spirit, however you refer to the higher source, the higher being? How can you deepen your trust in the universe? How can you deepen your trust in yourself? This is a great time to manifest, but we don't want to solely focus on accumulating material things to solidify what we know to be true. And what we know to be true is that you are a limitless, powerful, supercharged being. You are the prime example of a super manifester. So we don't want to rely on the fact that you have XYZ material things that solidifies your worth or your value. No, because Taurus rules second house. The second house is all about how you make money, how you call in money, your finances and things like that. But it's also about your values and how you value yourself. So how can you deepen your trust in the universe, in yourself, and how can you anchor into your self-worth in a way that is beyond what your eyes can see? So that is a wrap on this new moon in Taurus. If you like this video, I highly recommend you comment, like, and subscribe for more. I just might do a new moon in Taurus pick a card reading, so look out for that. But again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.